Hello, garden friends. It is Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026, and I have a garden update for you. So I have not posted anything lately because the garden has been on hold with lots of other things going on. So I'm really late this year on getting stuff in. I do like getting things planted around Mother's Day weekend or the weekend after, and we're already into June before I'm getting things into the ground last night. Let me give you a quick update on what's been going on. Due to extreme heat and cold and a lot of rain and me being sick, I just was not able to get out here and move the dirt, which really needed to be moved. I did need to fill all these beds because if you look at this one right here, the beds were really down on the amount of dirt that was in them. So I spent all day yesterday getting these 6 big beds filled, and I need to get these smaller ones and my pots and this one over here filled today. I do need to do a little bit of weeding before I can bring the rest of the dirt back here, and I have to find my strawberry patch. There's a strawberry right there, but I don't really see much else in here. I may actually need to buy some more strawberries, but for now I need to find this strawberry bed amongst the weeds. Let me give you a quick rundown of what got planted in here. So nothing here is actually planted. These are just sitting in there because I didn't want them to overheat more than they did. I was away over the weekend and forgot to tell my mom that I had new plants that needed to be watered, so they did not get watered. Oops. So if you look at these peppers over here, they are very mad at me, and I'm hoping they will bounce back. Anyway, giving you a rundown of what's going on over here. So I now have 4 types of thyme. I have the original one that I started my garden with, which is like a kind of hardy thyme. It has really small leaves. It is doing great. I have this other type of thyme behind it. I don't really know what this is, and it is really mad at me. The leaves are a little shriveled, and even this viola in here is letting me know that it needs some water. These violas right next to her are doing fabulous though. I've got 2 mystery tomatoes, 1, 2, and they are looking great. I don't know what they are yet. I'm kind of hoping that they might be some hybrid cherry tomatoes, the purples that I had last year, because I really like those. I have an empty planter here which will get filled. In this right here is my acorn squash. That is something that I had for dinner, and I threw the guts into a pot and it grew. I did actually start them here and there, and then we had a frost, killed everything. Thought, oh, that's it, I'll have to get some acorn squash seeds, and then I had some late growers that were like, oh, well, we're gonna grow. I'm like, okay, cool, don't have to worry about that. Over here in this bed last night, I got planted up the hot red cherry peppers. So this is something that I have grown the past couple years, and they usually do really well for me. Next to it, I threw in some basil seeds. In the middle, I threw in some basil seeds. Willy-nilly, I threw in some marigold seeds. And down the center here, as I like to do, I threw some sunflowers in there. So hopefully that'll be good. Some mystery tomatoes on the end here. I do have one that I think, this one right here that I stuck in here yesterday, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a Roma because I pulled it out of this bed back here when I was weeding to put the dirt in. So hopefully it's a Roma, don't know for sure. Speaking of Romas, I do have 3 behind me right here. They are mad at me. Again, lack of water. There is a little tomato right there though, so there is that. Yay. And in the front here, we've got some giant Marconi peppers, which is a sweet bell pepper type thing, so yay. One of them is sad, one of them is happy. We'll see how that goes. Also in this bed, I have put the same trellis in here that I had before. I just kind of like opened it again. I did not restring it or anything. And in the bottom of that is 2 cucumbers. There's 2 in that one and 1 in that one. And I threw some nasturtium in there because I like to have the nasturtium pulling in the good predator bugs. So I like to plant that here and there around the garden and get the nasturtium. While on the topic of the Romas, these are called Mariana tomatoes that I'm trying this year. I was looking for Romas, could not find them. So I found these Marianas, which are supposed to be like a hybrid larger version of a Roma, so I figured I'd give them a try. I do have 2 rows here, so I have 12 plants total. I did plant in the front basil and then a row of marigolds on the edge, so we'll see how that goes. I do have green onions hanging out here. These are the same green onions that you would have seen in last year's videos. I did not move them. All the green onions that you see around my garden were ones that I had cut the tops off for dinner, got them rooted up, threw them in the garden. The reason I grow the green onions is because they are supposed to keep the voles away. I don't know how true that is or not, but it seems to be working for me, so I'm going to keep doing it. This is a new experiment this year. I am trying out the gem corn. So that is a decorative corn, which I actually found out after buying it and was going to put it in, that you can actually make popcorn of it. So that's kind of exciting because every time I've grown normal corn, it doesn't really go so well. And we'll see how this version does, because you can leave it on the plant and not really have to watch the time on it, which you do for the eating corn. So what I did here was I did 2 rows of 6-inch spaced corn, so it's about 16 ended up in here. It was the proper amount of 16 on that side, and somehow I got like 18 on this side, but as you don't usually get 100% germination rate, I'm not all that worried about it. And you can see I've got my anti-squirrel netting put down here, which is just some chicken wire that I've weighted down with rocks because squirrels will dig up everything because they're little jerks. Over here, the potatoes are still doing well. And I have a new type of thyme over here, which is called a golden lemon thyme. And my mom had actually asked me to pick her up a lemon thyme at the store, and I grabbed myself one. Now that I have 4 different types of thyme, my 4th thyme is actually over here, and it's called foxlet thyme, and it's like a pretty little variegated leaf over there. Let me see. So I've covered what's in this bed here, and what's growing there and here. If you saw my earlier videos this year, I did put in lettuce and spinach, and 1 lettuce grew of like this whole half. I did end up with 3 spinach plants kind of like in this area here, which I did pull out last night and just tossed in my fridge. So haven't tried it yet, but I did harvest 3 spinach, which is better than nothing, which I thought I had at first. Let's see. Over here, I've got some kind of a berry bush growing here, and I'm not sure yet if I've got a raspberry or a blackberry. I am hoping for one of those because I did originally put in a blackberry bush in the back there when I first moved in about 10 years ago, and it hasn't really done anything. I'm not even sure right now if it's still alive because of the way the weeds are. And I'm pretty sure this is not that because this has thorns, and I had a thornless variety of blackberry. But that's not to say that this isn't actually blackberry, so I have to wait and see. I do have a rogue wineberry here. You can tell the difference between a wineberry and a blackberry because the wineberry, if you can see that stem right there, the stem is red for wineberry. They're super invasive, and while the berries do taste fabulous, I do not want to grow them just because I don't want an invasive plant growing around in my garden. Part of the problem with the location of these, though, is they are growing through the fence, and I am going to be putting up a fine mesh fence around the perimeter here. So these 3 sides, once I get the stupid ornamental grasses cleaned up, and once I get this cleaned up a little bit, we're going to put the fine mesh on these 3 sides, which will keep the rabbits and the rodents, specifically the stupid voles, out. We do have this last side that we have to put the fence up. The fence is moving from like where that hose was to over a little bit. That is to give us more room for the pool in case we have a chance to put a new pool deck on, because this one's a little rickety. And also my husband will be able to mow in this back corner, which he has not been able to do with the way the fence was before. The last thing I've got to cover over here is the strawberry patch. I did find the strawberry plant that's here, and yeah. I do have oregano growing on the pathways, which you might be noticing as I'm walking around. And I've decided to let that happen because it's better than most of the weeds I have, and I can, if it gets a little unruly, just like come out here, snip a little bit, dry it, and then I've got oregano I can eat. It does seem pretty hardy in that I did run it over with the wagon yesterday, and you can't even tell where I ran that over. Like, you can tell that I've run over like other plants, but like I've run that one over yesterday. I've run this one over that's like on the pathway here yesterday. It doesn't even care, which is kind of nice because normally I run stuff over on the pathway and it looks like that. So, not the worst thing to have on my pathways. It could end up being a great experiment. It could end up being a really terrible idea. But the good thing about oregano is it's pretty easy to remove it if it does become a problem. I can just dig it out easily. It's not going to spread like some of my other weeds do. And I can eat it. So it's kind of a win-win having oregano there. Also, when I step on it, it smells really good. Maybe it will help deter some of the the things that are unwanted in here. Maybe it will help deter some of the bugs and the voles and the critters that I don't want in here. Maybe they don't like oregano. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't looked it up, but wouldn't that be nice? Lastly, over here, my fig. I don't know if you've seen my video where the fig was getting chewed up by the voles. So I had actually taken the whole pot, buried it in the ground next to my shed way over there, and I gave it some like wind protection, essentially putting it over there. The voles started chewing up the stem. I've stuck some pool noodles on it for the winter, and it is still alive because I've got some beautiful new growth on it. And my mom left me some coffee grounds after babysitting this weekend, so I'm going to put some coffee grounds in there because my neighbor was like, oh, I put coffee grounds on mine and it was doing great. And then I put coffee grounds on the one I had before this, and it shot up like a lot. They apparently really like coffee grounds. I am not a coffee drinker, so it only gets occasional coffee grounds, but that's good enough. It's very happy by that. Random violas here and there, popping up everywhere. Absolutely love them. And lastly, I do have some plants here that are going to go in probably this bed over here and over there. I haven't quite figured out their exact spot yet, but let's see. We've got the Cherokee Purple, the 4th of July, and the Better Bush, which is going to go over the kids' garden because they don't get that big. And then I've got some pretty flowers here to end you with. Thank you for following along. I hope you like and subscribe to keep updated with the garden. I will hopefully get back to doing the weekly updates, which I did the past 2 years, but that really depends on what is going on. I hope you have a good one and see you next time.